Namaste. Namaste, and welcome to Monday Morning Yoga. And this, I think, is week 3 of our term. And we're using this term to look at some opportunities to open the chest and the heart and the front of the shoulders and build strength in that upper back part of the back of the body, to create an opportunity for better posture, in addition to looking at other ways to help our overall posture. So we're still focused on things like strengthening through the center and maybe strengthening through stabilizing through the hips. But today we're going to start with a reclining chest opener. So here, if you've got a rolled up blanket, that will do, or a bolster with something propped underneath the end that will go underneath your head. And I have brought 2 cushions so that I can do the knees open version of this as well. We're going to work our way into that. If you haven't got cushions and you've got blocks to hand, 2 blocks will do. And if you've got pillows to hand, that's great too. Later on in our class, we'll be using both our belts and our squashy balls. So this ball is about 2/3 full. But if you have a ball that's slightly more full or slightly less full, you'll still be able to use it. And you can also do this over a cushion or over a bolster if you don't have a ball to hand. So let's begin by sitting at the end of our support so that it's right up against the bottom of the back, placing the feet on the floor and just gently reclining over this support. If, like me, you've got your hair up, you might like to take it down just so it's nice and comfortable underneath the back of the neck. And to begin with, as we come down onto this support, we want to find where feels good for our body. So if it feels a little bit too intense across the low back, you can adjust the position of your buttocks, maybe slide them slightly further away from the support, or you can support underneath the buttocks with a little bit of lift. So a cushion or a folded blanket or a block, just to give you a little bit of support that still allows the upper body to release open. And keeping the feet flat on the floor and the knees bent, find a good position for your arms. Usually released away from the body is more useful than trying to keep them tight to your mat. And with the palms turned open, you can give yourself a moment to arrive in this position, settling into it. Surrendering your weight downwards, releasing into the floor towards the support. Closing your eyes if you feel comfortable doing that, or just maybe lowering the gaze somewhat so that your eyes are maybe half closed. The eyes feel relaxed. Sometimes in heart open positions like this, where the front of the body is very open, it is more of a challenge to feel comfortable with the eyes closed. So if that's the case, don't feel like you're doing it wrong if you're doing it with your eyes open. That's absolutely fine. Take a few deeper breaths here and see if you can feel a little softness coming across the forehead. See if you can release some of the tension from across the eyes and around the jaw, the tongue. Allow the back of the head to be heavy, so the muscles that support the back of the head, the ones at the back of the body across the neck and shoulders can relax a little bit more. Being able to let go of their tension for support. Feel the chest expanding. The space across the collarbones opening. The sides of the body molding themselves around the support, falling towards the floor. And here, if you feel comfortable, particularly across the low back, then you can take the opportunity to explore sliding the legs long so the legs can relax. And sometimes that just allows us to soften a little deeper as we let go of some tension across the pelvis as well. If you need to find a release, wiggling your toes or just gently waving your feet from side to side, just relaxing and releasing into the hips, allowing the back of the body to get steadily heavier. Finding a nice, long, deep breath, if one's readily available to you. Sometimes there's a challenge with stepping straight into stillness. And if that's the case, you can focus on the pauses in the breath. For those of you who would like to, you can try an alternative position with the feet. So bringing the soles of the feet together and allowing the knees to rest out to the sides on support, or if they rest all the way to the floor without support. And here, it's only a progression for those who would like it. You don't need to use this if it makes the low back area feel uncomfortable or the position is too intense, then just go back to having the legs long and straight, or go back to having the knees bent and the feet on the floor. Take a moment to settle into this final position, whichever one you have chosen. Softening the features of your face once more and returning to that deep breath. Possibly focusing on the pause in the breath if you would like to. We'll be here for a few minutes, letting go of all of our effort, holding stillness. Take a moment to feel the openness across the chest, Feel the opportunities for the breath to move out into the space underneath the arms. Feel the space that you've created with this position, this passive opening of the chest. When you're ready, you can begin to prepare to move. If your knees are out to the side, just gently helping the legs together one at a time. You can move your supports out to one side. And then lengthen the legs so that they're straight. So those who've had knees out to the side will meet the folks who've got their legs straight here. And then we'll take another just deep breath in and out. And then from here, turning the toes to point up towards the ceiling, sliding the feet in so the knees are bent. And we're going to prepare the belly muscles so we can roll to one side and gently dismount our support and then roll the support out of the way so that we can roll back onto the back and find that more neutral shape of the body with the back of the head supported. Find a wider, broader support across the whole of the back. Knees stay bent to allow more of the back to find contact with the floor. And if you wish to, you can make any releasing movements that feel good, perhaps a little wiggle of the hips from side to side or backwards and forwards, as the case may be. I like to think about a point of movement that goes through the body from front to back, around about the belly button, slightly below, and then keeping that part of the body on the floor, tipping the right hip down towards the feet, and then the left hip down towards the feet. So as if I was shaking my tail from side to side, pivoting on that part of the body that stays in contact with the floor. And that just helps me to release any sensations of holding or tension across the low back, and then a little bit of the same kind of movement but backwards and forwards, just a gentle roll of the pelvis backwards and forwards. And all the while we allow the back of the head and the shoulders and arms to feel really heavy so they can find that more neutral position again. Take the feet nice and wide and firm your belly, and then here gently swaying your knees from side to side. And we're going to start with just movement of the knees. And when you feel like you've familiarized yourself with the feeling of that down the sides of the body, across the abdomen, the back, and the pelvis, you can move your head in the opposite direction. So looking across the left shoulder as the knees go to the right, and gently turning the head to the right as the knees go to the left. A little firmness across the belly as you move, and moving as slowly as feels comfortable. So here, the slower you move, the more opportunity you have for using the effort of the muscles to support. And we begin to work out a little bit of a holding pattern by contracting gently and releasing the muscles in this sort of sequence. Let's just do one more to each side. And then coming back to the center, we're going to gather our knees towards us. So we're working our way from the back bend that we started with towards this more forward bending, folded position of the front of the body. And here you might like to gently ease the knees in and out, or move in little circles, whatever feels good to you. So move in a way that feels like it's useful. And it's often a good time to listen to your body and use your intuition. So it's usually a combination of things which works. Maybe some circles in each direction, then maybe circling one knee and then the other, so that we're circling round one hip and then the other, just massaging out those spaces across the bottom of the body, but working a little bit higher up also across the waist perhaps and the low rib cage. Whichever way you're going, making sure that you've given yourself an opportunity to go in the opposite direction as well. You may have already changed direction. It's okay to change direction several times and to feel where your work is most useful, your effort is most useful. When you're ready, you can hug the knees towards you, just gently taking the feet down to the floor one at a time. And then we're going to take the arms and wrap them across the body. So right arm over left arm, just letting the fingertips fall towards the floor. And see if you can ease the back of the neck towards the floor, just a touch. Or perhaps have a sense of lengthening that space across the upper back. And here, if it's useful, you can gently turn your head from one side to the other. It doesn't go very far because of the position of the shoulders, but just exploring the space that you have available, seeing if there is the opportunity to let go of any holding patterns that you have established there. When you're ready, you can come back to the center, maybe just hugging the shoulders themselves rather than letting the fingertips drape. And you can gently turn the upper body from side to side. So a little rock across the shoulders or the shoulder blades or the upper back. That feels good. And you can even turn your head in the opposite direction ever so slightly if that feels good as well. When you're ready, coming back to the center, we're going to uncross the arms and just take a moment here to roll through the wrists. So the hands may be over the chest, rolling through the wrists with long fingers, rolling the opposite way as well. And there is quite a lot of relationship between the hands, the wrists, the shoulders. So sometimes rolling through the wrist and wiggling through the fingers is a really nice way to let all of your joints pop and crack, but in my case anyway, but also to release tension and to give the arms an opportunity to move in the shoulder joints as well. We're going to wrap the arms, take them wide and then wrap them left arm over right arm. Again, letting the fingertips fall towards the floor, the arms nice and heavy, a gentle sway of the nose from side to side. If you found that useful in the previous practice, then you might find it useful in this one too. When you're ready, you can bring your head to center, maybe just hug yourself a little deeper, and then gently roll across that upper back area, just massaging it in towards the floor. And if you like to, you can turn your head in the same direction or in the opposite direction as you choose. Sometimes those twisting movements are the better ones to get rid of tension. But we're all different. When you're ready, coming back to the center, just finding real length in the back of the body, particularly across the back of the neck, maybe even drawing the chin towards the chest ever so slightly. And then reaching the arms over the chest, folding the thumbs into the palms and fingers around. And again, making nice big wrist circles, or wrist circles. They don't need to be big. They can just be wrist circles and the opposite way as well. Super. And then here we're going to stay on the back, but bring the palms towards each other. So here we're going to slide the fingers of the left hand up. So we lift the left shoulder away from the floor, particularly the back of the shoulder. And then we're going to slide and glide the fingertips back to center. So we press the back of the shoulder into the floor. So sliding the left fingertips up, reaching up, the arms stay long and straight all of the time. The movement comes from the upper back and the chest, and then we're rolling, sliding the hands back down, rolling the shoulder back into the floor. Let's do 3 more like that. Nice and slowly reaching up, finding that top of your range, and then slowly gliding back down. allowing the shoulder to press into the floor. You can even press it a little deeper than it normally would go. Gliding up to hold that extended position, and then gliding back down. The head remaining really heavy here. The rest of the body very passive. Last one, sliding the fingertips up, and then gently gliding the hand back to center. In the center, just want to do something that releases the arms in a different way. So we can take the elbows out to the side of the body and just place them around about shoulder height, and then allow the backs of the hands to come towards the floor if that is possible. I'm just moving some of the debris from around me to be able to do that. So we're going to articulate from the shoulder joint, bringing the hands back up to what is a little bit like robot arms, elbows out to the side, upper arms from elbows to shoulders on the floor, palms facing towards the feet, and then just letting the backs of the hands roll towards the floor by tipping the arms to themselves, and then coming back to the center. And we'll do three more like that, sorry. So just releasing the backs of the hands towards the floor. It's okay if they don't go all of the way. And then coming back to center, or to our starting position, and then tipping back. Rest of the body nice and passive, just allowing particularly the space across the back of the neck and the head to be heavy, and the backs of the shoulders, noticing if you feel any sensations. And then this time, as we come back to center, we're going to reach the arms back up towards the ceiling, roll the wrists a couple of times, maybe gently turn your head from side to side. Bring the palms back towards each other, and we're going to glide the right fingertips up, lifting the right side of the chest up towards the ceiling, peeling the right side of the upper back away from the floor, and then slowly releasing back, gliding the fingers down and pressing the right shoulder into the floor, but keeping the arms extended. They don't need to be rigidly straight, but extended. Sliding the right fingertips up, feeling the back of the shoulder peel away from the floor, and then gently, slowly gliding that shoulder back down into the mat. Doing three more like this, lengthening. As you feel that shoulder lift, allow the rest of the body to be quite passive, and then releasing back towards the floor, pressing a little deeper if that feels good. Reaching up, holding just a little longer, slowly, 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 slowly coming back down, and then slowly moving even deeper. Maybe the fingertips are coming down slightly on the left palm. Last one, reaching up, and then slowly coming back down to center. And then coming back to normal, just taking the elbows wide again. We're going to again have the palms facing towards the feet with the elbows wide, about shoulder height or chest height. And then here, tipping the palms down towards the floor. So the arms are going forward instead of backwards, and then rotating back to the center, tipping the palms towards the floor. Maybe, so my hands don't go towards the floor. I feel my shoulders coming forward. Maybe you've got more range in this direction. Maybe the other direction was not so easy. Let's do three more of these. Just rolling. Apologies if anyone can hear my elbow knobbling against the wooden floor. Just waving effectively up and down, keeping the elbows bent, keeping as much of the arms on the floor as feels comfortable in the upper arms. So we're using a different kind of rotation, different kind of movement. Let's do one more for luck. That means I've forgotten how many we've done. And then returning to center. And then just bringing the arms up off the floor. We're going to do stretching one arm towards, so the arms are long and straight over the chest. Reach your left arm over your head and your right arm down towards your hip, and then swap sides. So it's like marching arms or scissoring arms one way and then the other. We're going to go from side to side and perhaps just be aware of what's happening in the back of the body or across the chest or the collarbones, the shoulders, wherever you might feel this, just reaching from side to side. We've got the knees bent and the feet on the floor for that stability in the low part of the body. We'll do one more to each side. Remembering it's not about getting to the floor. And then as you come back to center, just relaxing the arms away from the body, out to the side, so the backs of the hands are on the floor. And here, with the arms supported and the shoulders passive, gently roll your head from one side to the other. A nice gentle roll of the head. Fantastic stuff. Easing through. So I'd like to do one more thing here on the floor before we get up and do other things. But I need to roll to one side to find my red squashy ball. So if you need to grab your red squashy ball, then you can. Today we're going to put the red ball underneath the center of the chest, but we might move around on it a little. And here, if you've got hair and you're using one of these red squashy balls, then putting it up out of the way, because these balls eat hair. If you don't have a red squashy ball, you could use a bolster, you could use a cushion. The balls are more effective because you can roll around on them, and a Ziploc bag full of air will work just as well. So any of these items would be great. Just coming down onto the ball, be a little bit careful. You might want to have your upper arms on the floor so you can adjust the ball to be underneath that upper part of the back. The center of the chest is what we're going to aim for to begin with. We're going to take our hands and create a hammock and support the back of the head so that the neck can be quite passive. So you're actively using your arms to keep the weight of the head away from the floor. And then here, just begin by exploring movement through your upper back. So we're supporting the head, but we might make some circling movements. So we begin to extend the chest as if we're taking the head down towards the floor and then bringing up again. And then we can circle in the opposite direction. So again, supporting the weight of the head so that there's no strain in the back of the neck. And just massaging with the ball. It's a little bit like doing a bit of foam rollering type preparation. And then we're going to come back to center and lift the hips ever so slightly. And here you need to use your belly muscles. And then we're just going to allow that part of the body that's on the ball to be heavy, but move ourselves around the floor, around the ball, to be able to access towards the top of the shoulders, maybe even the base of the neck, around the collar, not the collarbones, the shoulder blades and the side of the body, just by tipping ourselves and moving around. Again, using your hands to support the weight of the head as much as feels comfortable. If it doesn't feel comfortable to do this with the hips off the floor, you can do it with the hips on the floor. It's a bit similar to what we've done before. You might just need to move the ball on your back a little bit every once in a while so that you can access all of those same spaces. Beginning to hit the floor. So you can do any part of the body that feels good here. You'll notice that as you work in this way, you really do quite a lot of work with your core muscles and your legs as well. And then when you're ready, slide the ball up so it's underneath the back of the neck and the bottom of base of the skull, and just relax your arms so you can let your head and neck rest on the ball. And maybe the upper back as well, but if you want to adjust so it's just the head and neck, then you can pull the ball out from underneath the upper back. Allow the arms to rest away from your body, and then really slowly, just gently waving your nose from side to side. And this way, that ball is massaging through the structures in the base of the skull the back of the neck, and the very, very top of the upper back across the tops of the shoulders. Everything is so connected in the human body that it's really nice to be able to work with multiple parts at once, like we are doing. When you're ready, you can bring your head back to center and just spend a moment allowing the head to be really heavy. If you feel it like it, you can extend your legs as well, so that the head is resting. And that's where it's important not to have a full ball of air, because we don't want the head to be tipped forward too much. We want the head to be resting, that sense of buoyancy in the back of the neck, back of the head. The sense of being able to let go into that support and allow the rest of the body to soften into the floor as well. Take a few deep breaths. Whenever you're ready, you can firm your belly muscles, draw your chin towards your chest, release the ball out from underneath the back of the neck, and just allow your head to rest down onto the floor. Allow the arms to rest to wherever is comfortable for them. Take a moment to arrive in some stillness and feel the effect of your work, your posture work. You're releasing. And you might have a sense of openness or spreading, or I get a sort of warm, cold feeling, a bit like having rubbed Tiger Balm on, spreading out from wherever I've been working. You might be able to tap into a different sensation. And then whenever you're ready, you can draw the knees into the chest. And here you've got options. You can either roll to one side and come up to sitting, or you can bring your chin towards your chest, roll through the length of the spine a few times, and find your way to an upright position with a little bit of momentum. And as you come into that upright position, just give yourself a moment to sit. Doesn't matter how you sit. Sit with your feet on the floor, sit with your legs extended, sit cross-legged, sit on a chair. But however you come to an upright position, just stopping for a moment to allow this new organization with gravity, this new relationship that you have. Closing your eyes or gazing gently downward if you prefer. Observing the effect of your practice so far. And then when you're ready, we can do a little bit of movement from here. So making sure you're comfortable in whatever position it might be. I'm sitting cross-legged with the left leg in front of the right. I'm making note of that so that I can come back when I need to change that position. So please excuse me as I just tie my hair out of the way. So what we can start with is a few gentle neck movements. We're going to start by bringing the chin down towards the chest, just feeling any sense of length that might come in the upper part of the back or the back of the neck. And then from here, rolling the right ear towards the right shoulder, maybe lifting the chin slightly, and then chin to chest, and rolling the left ear to the left shoulder, perhaps lifting the chin. And then going gently from side to side. There's no need to hurry here. In fact, slower is better. And noting where you feel sensations in the body. Sometimes closing our eyes gives us more opportunity to do that, but practice in a place that feels comfortable for you. Notice the connections between the movements of the head and the neck, and sensations across the jaw, the side of the scalp, the ear, the chest, the shoulders, and the upper back, as well as those in the neck. We're going to do one more slowly from side to side, but if you want to do a full circle, you can. I find that side to side with a lifted chin is enough for me in this moment. When you're ready, come to having your chin back towards your chest. Give yourself a gentle smile and then bring your head to an upright position. We're just going to roll the shoulders a little. See if we can let go of any tension that's across the shoulders. I realize I'm surrounded by debris, so I'm just going to, debris, you know what I mean, equipment. Move it out of the way for now, because I think that there will be limited use for that at the moment. And then we're going to just have a little focus on these shoulders. So let's reach the arms nice and wide. We're going to go from side to side, just a little reach. So work your way into it. This is our first real movement down the side of the body. So here we don't need to anchor into our hips necessarily. If it feels like a hip wants to travel with you, it can. If you would like to explore more into the space in the side of the body, you can keep those hips lengthened towards the floor or heavy in towards the floor. As you move from side to side, you might feel that you're able to go a little further, and that's great. If you don't, that's fine too. This time, as you come over to your right side, I'm just going to pause for a moment. So we want the right arm to be a little soft, a little bounce there to keep the movement nice and buoyant. And we just begin reaching the left fingertips up and over. So here we're looking for a side stretch. It's no use if the left shoulder comes forward and we round through the upper back. We want to keep that sensation of sideways bending as much as feels comfortable. And you can be higher up and achieving exactly what you need for your body. You don't need to be low to the ground necessarily. We just all find our own place. And then here, we're going to reach the arm back away from us. So it's a little bit out towards shoulder height. And here, we're going to turn the head down towards the floor and then just make some nice rotations through that arm. So turning the palm up and down, rolling through the shoulder. You can even move your head in and out at the same time if it feels like a nice thing to do. Very good. And then we're going to reach that arm back over towards the right side and roll the whole shoulder back to open the chest and look up towards the ceiling, and roll the whole shoulder forward to look down towards the floor. A little firmness through the belly as we roll the whole chest open towards the ceiling and roll the whole chest down towards the floor. Let's do one more open. And one more forward. Let that left arm come down. Pad the hands across the front of the body. Doesn't matter what position your legs are in. And here, that left shoulder has done a lot of work. So it's nice and soft and releasing its effort. We're going to draw the shoulder blades towards each other to open the chest, as if you were doing a cobra pose. So you're really gliding the shoulder blades down, finding space and openness across the chest. And then perhaps just a little wiggle of the chest from side to side, if that feels comfortable. And you can be much higher up, that's okay. And if your legs are extended, you can do this with bent knees, so you can take the effort or the strain out of the backs of the legs. And for those who feel comfortable here, you can pad yourself a little bit further forward. If you don't, stay up here, stay shimmering, stay a little bit higher, but moving so you find space and opportunity. But if you've found space and opportunity and you want to come a little bit lower down, you can come lower down and shimmer, or you can just come down and rest. Maybe allow the back of the neck to lengthen. Take a deep breath in and out, reaching your fingertips more forward to a point that feels good to you. And then padding the hands back towards the body to come into an upright position. Just taking an opportunity here to reach the hands back behind you. And if your legs have been crossed, separating the legs, excuse me, leaning back, we're going to wave the knees from side to side. Just a little lean back onto the hips so we can pivot nice and easily. And again, you don't need to get your knees down towards the floor. They can be much higher up. It's all about whatever movement naturally comes to you. I'm pivoting on my heels to allow the knees to move as much as possible, but you can relax your feet a little bit more if that works for you. I find my knees don't like it if I relax my feet so much. So it helps keep a little bit of tension and strength there. Whenever you're ready, coming back to sitting up again. If you have had your legs crossed, we're crossing them the opposite way, right leg in front of left instead of left in front of right. Just finding a little bit of fleshy buttock pulled backwards to give us nice purchase on the floor. So let's come back to some movements with the neck. So we're going to start with the chin towards the chest, and then a gentle smile, rolling up, coming back to center, taking the bottom teeth over the top teeth, chin towards the ceiling. And then rolling down, relaxing the mouth back to its original place. And we'll do 2 more like that. So chin to chest, finding some gentle length. And here smiling, rolling back to center, bottom teeth over top teeth to roll up. And then slowly back down, relaxing the jaw, chin to chest 1 last time. See if you can soften any holding across your shoulders as you're here. And then smiling gently, head to upright, keeping the shoulders soft. Bottom teeth over top teeth to lift the chin. And then slowly back to center. And in the center, relaxing your jaw, wiggling the jaw from side to side. Very good. And then just rolling your shoulders a few times. Making any movements with your head that feel good. And we can go back to our sideways movements. So we're doing a gentle lean over to the left and lean over to the right. You can begin to keep your hips more still if you like on this side with a different position of your legs. If you've altered it, then you might find that you need to bring your hip with you a few times, or that might just be the way it's most comfortable for you to do it. Keeping that movement sideways instead of forwards. So it doesn't matter how far you go over. If you're a little bit higher up, it's all about finding what is a good sideways stretch for your body. The next time we come over to the left, we're going to hang out there, just keeping the left elbow nice and soft so we can be buoyant here. The shoulders not up around the ears, it's down. We're reaching the right fingertips over to the left and just trying to find that sense of increasing space, a little bit of length. We're not forcing or straining. When you find your position, we're going to take the right arm back to point towards the right side, and then turn the head so that you're looking down towards the left. And here you can roll the wrist or make any movements turning the palm up, the palm down. So you get a little movement through the shoulder, front and back, while the head's in this position, but you might also like to turn your head slightly and see if you can feel just where you get a sense of more length. When you're ready, you can reach your right arm all the way over to the left, wherever it feels comfortable. And then we're rolling the whole chest up towards the ceiling. So you're looking up and then rolling the chest down towards the floor. So you're looking down. Your head following the movement. If you wish to turn a little further through the neck, you can, if it feels good to you. A little bit of firm support across the belly. Let's just do 1 more. Open and then closed. And as we close, bringing the right hands down, patting the hands around to the center of the body or either side of the legs, whatever position they're in, rolling the shoulder blades towards each other to lengthen through the chest and open that space. Drawing the shoulder blades down, we can gently sway the chest from side to side. And even if we ended up quite low in the previous position, the previous side, we want to start a bit higher up. We don't want to force the body too quickly. So we're looking for space. We're looking for space we can easily get into and hang out in. And if you wish to, you can go a little bit lower. And then for anyone who wishes to, you can fold deeper still, reaching the fingertips away from you. Remember that if that's not comfortable today, staying higher up, it won't be a problem at all. Staying swaying. If you wish to, you can reach the fingertips far away from you and find that forward fold. Wherever you are, just spending a few moments before gently padding the hands back towards center, coming to sitting upright, and we're going to find that space behind us to put the hands onto, separate the feet again, and gently sway the knees from side to side. Good job, everyone. Well, to be honest, it's just me and Trish today here in person, but everyone who is watching it later. Very good. And then because we've done this more forward folding of the body, we're going to take the hands to wherever is comfortable. Actually, I think we should do this in different hand positions. So we're going to start with the fingertips pointing towards the feet, or if that's not so comfortable for your wrists, towards the feet-ish. So it can be out to the side a little bit. Roll the shoulder blades towards each other, place the feet firmly on the floor, and just lifting the hips up gently and then lowering down. Thinking about using that strength of the upper back. So really lifting through the chest first, creating stability there, lifting here, creating a little bit of lift with the buttocks and the belly muscles. Let's turn the hands to point out to the side. And you can widen your arms if you like, but if the arms are underneath the body, you get the best purchase, but you have to do what's good for your shoulders, okay? So rolling the shoulder blades towards each other, opening the chest, pressing into the fingertips as well as you lift the hips up and then gently release down. There's no need to let your head go back, but as you lift the hips up, if you wish to lengthen your neck so that the crown of your head is pointing away from the feet, then you can. Release the hips down and then turn your fingertips so that they're pointing back behind you. And here again, if that's too uncomfortable, doing the best you can. So going in that direction. Little roll of the shoulder blades towards each other, pressing into the feet to lift and gently lower. And we'll do just one more. Fingertips on the floor as well. Gently lift, maybe extending the neck and gently lower. When you're ready, just coming off the wrists. That's sometimes quite hard work for the wrists, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll, whatever feels good. We are going to come now onto the front of the body, and we do need our belts. So actually, we've got a block to hand for those of you who were working with a bolster at the beginning of class. So a block would also be useful, and I'm just going to ever so slightly shift my mat to give me a little bit more space as well. Smashing. So let's come onto our hands and knees and go in that general direction. So we want to release our wrists first, interlacing the fingers and just rolling through the wrists a few times in each direction. And maybe shaking them out or rolling the backs of the hands towards each other and apart, as the case may be. Whatever wrist release you like to do is quite nice. And then having released our wrists from our previous reverse tabletop position, we're going to come onto hands and knees and do a little bit of movement before we come to lying on the belly. This is not at all the class I had planned, but it's sort of evolved as we've been working, which is lovely. I love doing that in my own practice as well. So here we are on our hands and knees, and everyone can find their way to hands and knees. I know the regular practitioners, but we want to focus on a little bit of a lift underneath the belly and finding that space between you and the floor, which means that we don't sag into our shoulders. We're actively pressing the mat away. And we can do that in the feet as well as in the hands. And then here, just rolling the shoulders. So we want to try to do this with the elbows lengthened. They don't need to be rigidly straight, but nicely lengthened. If you find that rolling the shoulders is not available at the moment, you can simply slide the shoulders up and down, and then do a little bit sort of side to side, if you like, in and out, up and down, forwards and backwards, up and down is what I mean. Forwards and backwards, up and down. But if you're comfortable rolling the shoulders, then rolling the shoulders is what we're aiming for. And there's that really delicious feeling of the shoulder blades rolling around, sliding around on the upper back. We're going to go in the opposite direction as well. And then when you're ready, you can just bring yourself off your wrists to give them a little bit of rest. And here, you might like to turn the backs of the hands towards the floor and just put the tiniest bit of effort into the back of the hands. Now, some people are able to take much more effort in the back of the hands, and you might sway from side to side, that's okay, or even do some circling motions around the backs of the hands and the wrists in this position. But it's really just to give you the opportunity to move the wrist in the opposite way to release any tension there. We can shake out the hands as well. If you feel your wrists are tiring, then you can come on to working on your forearms, and you can even do that on 2 blocks, which will give you a little bit of lift away from the floor. So it's not quite the same as being in the position where you're down on the floor. A little bit of lift here, and you might find that that gives you the opportunity to move as you would like to. I'm going to put the blocks to one side anyway, because we're going to use them in a few moments. But coming back to hands and knees, or using the forearms as you need to, we're doing a little gentle movement through our cat-cows. So here we've focused with our shoulder rolls on the movement of the shoulder blades against the back. And now we can give the elbows the opportunity to soften a little and maybe focus on that movement of the shoulder blades and the upper back area, rather than focusing on the back bending and forward bending of this posture. Allow your head to follow the movement. So the crown of the head is always lengthened away from the tailbone. And we'll do one more. Very good. And then here, we're going to take those blocks underneath the forearms, just as we, not underneath the forearms, underneath the upper arms. Ha! What was I thinking? So we want to put the elbows, we want the blocks wide enough that our chests and heads can come between them. Put the elbows towards the ends of the block, and then just allow the forehead to come towards the floor. And you can shift your knees back away a little bit if you would like to. You can bring the palms of the hands towards each other so that you make a prayer position and take that to the nape of the neck, or the upper back if that's where your arms go to. Or you can just put one palm on the upper back or the back of the neck and then the other palm on top. Here, there is no right or wrong thing to do with your low body. The further away your knees are, the more opportunity for your spine to lengthen, perhaps, or to open across the chest. You can press the tops of the feet into the floor and firm the belly muscles if you'd like to. Just breathing. Feeling that space underneath the arms. If it feels too intense, then I'm going to give you something else to do. So for those who are ready to release, you can come out of it in any way that feels good. I did a very ungraceful dismount of sort of pressing into my elbows and inching forward with the knees, but I'm sure you can find a better way to do that than I did. So this is a really lovely practice for just opening the space along the backs of the arms and underneath the shoulders, underneath the armpits. But you can do this on a kitchen counter or with a chair or a sofa back or a table. And you simply rest your elbows on it and walk away. So you get much longer back, less of a back bend. And if that doesn't work, you can bring your hands in front of you and take your knees far enough back so you can stack your hips over your knees, walking the hands forward until you feel that sense of openness across the chest. So here, this is actually called Anahata Asana. They're all variations of this pose, and you can undulate. So you can gently move yourself hips forward, shoulders forward, and then hips over knees, and then chest towards the floor. So this gentle moving in and out of this pose. And because we don't necessarily want to hold in the super intense chin on the floor or forehead on the floor, chest to the floor variation, but for those who are comfortable, you absolutely can do that if you like. But for those who are working towards that comfort, that sense of ease, then moving in and out is fine. And here, with the hands in this position, the wrists aren't so pressured as they would be in hands and knees. So it's quite a nice release from that as well. Let's just do one more. For those who wish to hang out for a bit longer, you can. Or you can move in and out, or you can simply take child's pose, which is where we're going to go anyway. So whenever you're ready, walking your hands back towards your body. And here, I'd recommend keeping the knees towards each other, taking the hands back towards the ankles, forehead towards the floor, and let the shoulders soften towards the floor themselves. By keeping the knees together, we get a more rounded spine shape, which is fine if that is comfortable for you. If it isn't, toes together, knees apart. You might want to have the arms in front of the body or stacked forearms underneath the head, just to give a little bit more support. This is harder to do with the arms down by the sides because there's more pressure on the head. So choosing the position that works best for you in this moment. But as we've done so much opening, a little rounding is quite nice here. Gentle breaths, releasing the effort across the face, the chest, the shoulders. Whenever you're ready, coming into a more upright position. So we're working now with a little bit more strengthening. Having done lots of releasing, hopefully we've got the space to move into with that strength as well. So what we're going to do is keep this position of the knees, but just come a little bit forward. So we're not hands and knees with the knees further away from the hands. We're just coming a little bit forward. And we're going to take the right hand to the back of the head. So we've got this open position of the chest, a little bit. So I find this, I would like to say, I find this really quite toughy, this next one. So don't be surprised if you're not moving very much, but I've obviously got a closed heart in many ways, who knows. So we're going to press into the left hand and at the same time take the right elbow as far back and open as we can. So we're looking for effort across the upper back. We're looking for it to be toughy. And we're going to hold there for a moment, and then we're going to take the right elbow towards the left wrist or elbow. So we're closing the opposite way. And then firm in the belly to open again. We're looking here just for a little bit more space, if possible, using that space behind the shoulders, and then releasing right elbow towards left elbow or wrist or arm in general. This time, coming into that open position, we're going to use our breath. So we're first going to hold where we can, and then take a deep breath in. And as we breathe out, see if we can move a little bit more into that twist. Deep breath in. As we breathe out, see if we can move a little bit more. Last one, deep breath in. As we breathe out, and then, having moved a little bit more, release all the way out, touching the elbow towards the left arm, and then coming back to center, both hands on the ground. We're going to do the same thing with the other side. Just notice, if you want to, take your weight off your wrists, your ankles, whatever it might be, and just feel the difference between the two sides of the body. I feel really spacious across this side of the chest, but I feel quite fatigued. It was quite a big effort. So that's great, I think. So we're going to come back to do the other side. So placing now the right hand down on the floor, the left hand behind the head on the left side. We're going to roll to the left, opening the chest towards the left and pressing into that right hand and using the upper back to turn to the left as much as feels comfortable, leading with the elbow. And then we're going to take the elbow to the opposite elbow, the right arm, wrist, elbow, wherever it might be, and then rolling the opposite way. Opening, finding that strength across the upper back to find that space down that side of the body, and then unwinding to be able to take the left elbow towards the right arm. This time, as we open, we're going to use our breath. So in the most open position, we take a deep breath in. And as we breathe out, just seeing if there's a bit more room to move into. Breathing in. As we breathe out, maybe just another millimeter or two. Breathing in. As we breathe out, twisting yet again, and then unwinding slowly towards that opposite side. Then taking the hands down to the floor. We can take a moment here to come out of the position just to feel the effect across the neck and shoulders and upper back. Hopefully it feels good to you. And then we're going to come to lying down all the way flat on our bellies. So here we can put maybe have the belt to hand. I don't know if we've maybe done enough with our shoulders already today. We'll see how it goes. But belt and block to hand if necessary. And then we take the back of the head, the forehead to the back of the hands, lying on the front of the body, turning the toes in and the heels out, and taking a few deeper breaths here. Feel the weight of the body surrender towards the floor, letting go of tension from across any areas that might have tension. Relaxing your face, maybe wiggling your hips from side to side, if that helps you to release effort in the front of the pelvis or the abdomen or the chest. And then here, we're going to bring the thighs towards each other, the heels more straight than they were, and then take the hands either side of the chest, maybe quite wide. I've got mine wider than my mat. Here, I want the hands to be in a position where I can feel it is quite easy to roll the shoulders down the back towards each other and draw the elbows quite close to the body. I'm going to press down with my feet and my pubic bone, and then just lift a little in the belly muscles. And that's engaging them rather than drawing them away from the floor, unless you're very slim. And then here, we're gently going to lift the upper back and the back of the head so that we press into the hands just a little, but the elbows are still bent, the shoulders are still down, and then gently releasing back to the floor. Low body stays really active, core muscles stay active, and we do that again. Just lifting the head and the chest, and particularly keeping the back of the neck long before we release down towards the floor. Let's do one more like this, up and down, using that space between the shoulder blades, using the strength of the legs, and then lowering gently to the floor. Taking a deep breath in and out, maybe engaging the pubic bone downwards a little bit more. And then as you come up this time, pressing into your hands so you can come a little higher up. You can support yourself a little higher from the floor. We still want to Avoid the shoulders coming up by gliding them down to find that open chest space, pressing into the fingertips, a little lift in the belly to make sure that we're lengthened in the low back as well. And then here, if you'd like to, you can gently turn your chest from side to side, just like a snaking motion, which is quite nice for cobra pose. And then for those who are comfortable, you might turn this into more of a twist where you take the left shoulder across the body as you turn the head to the right, and then take the right shoulder across the body as you turn the head to the left. And you might do this where you get a little dip up and down as well, becomes a bit more like a press up, still really firm in the low body, still very active in the belly muscles. Maybe one more to each side. And I mean one more to each side from here, because I forgot. Super. And then when you're ready, coming back to the center, lowering all the way down to the floor, making a pillow out of the hands, either turning the head to one side or leaving the forehead down, turning the toes in, heels out, separating the feet and the legs as much as feels comfortable, giving yourself a little roll from side to side with the hips. I did say to bring the belts, but I've decided that we've done enough with our shoulders today, that we don't really want to do any further action here. That's okay. I will demonstrate it in a different way, or we'll use it in a different class. We're going to take a twisted child's pose now. So coming back onto the hands and knees. But here we want to perhaps widen the knees, unlike our previous variation. So widening the knees, we're going to keep the hips back towards the heels, reach the right hand forward, and then slide the left arm underneath that space between the right arm and the floor. Take the left side of the head to the floor if possible, or fold your arm at the elbow and place your right forearm or back of the hand underneath your head. Or a block if you need a little bit more space than that. When you get into this pose, softening the right shoulder as much as feels comfortable. You might even let your hips slide a little bit to the left, that's okay. But making sure that it feels good across the upper back and the shoulders themselves. So relaxing here, softening, deepening just a little. Some nice long breaths. One more long deep breath. And then giving yourself a little bit of space, some lift with the right arm to ease back to center. You're going to reach both arms forward and take the forehead towards the floor if possible, or fold the arms and rest the forehead on the back of the arms. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So starting from a more upright position, tenting the fingertips of the left hand, slide the right arm underneath the left arm, taking the right side of the head, the shoulder towards the floor, softening the left elbow down, or bending at the elbow to support the head with the left forearm, or a block if needed, if you're a little bit higher up. When you get into the posture that is the right one for you, just releasing your effort and allowing heaviness through both arms, which allows that breath as it moves to come into the upper back, that space behind the right shoulder. Breathing deeply, finding length and opportunity for release in all of the areas we've worked on the back of the right shoulder. One more deep breath in and out. And taking your opportunity to create some space underneath that left arm to easily slide back to center, reaching the hands forward, reaching the forehead towards support or the floor. Taking a moment here, maybe to shimmer the chest from side to side if it feels good. A little wiggle is always nice to release, maybe wiggling the fingers and the hands. And then when you're ready, you can pad your hands back towards you, and we're going to take our ball for our final releasing practice today. Oh, well, final releasing practice in this position anyway. So we have used our ball earlier. We're going to use the ball to roll the ball away in the same position so that we get a little bit of lift in the arms, which means we get more opportunity for the chest to open towards the floor. So lifting in the belly, and here you can roll around on your ball a little bit. So you can roll the ball from side to side. And when you're ready, you can roll the ball all the way to your left. My ball doesn't roll quite as well because it's so squashy. But then take the right hand on top of the left and try and get a nice sense of length down the right side of the body. So just holding, if it feels good to hold, you don't have to hold. You can go a little deeper if you prefer, or you can come out a little bit more if you prefer. Once you've had a couple of long, deep breaths, you can roll the ball to the other side. Left hand on top of right. Just holding the head between the hands or using the arms to support the head just a touch. Finding the space down the left side of the body. Going a little deeper for those of you who would like to, or coming out if you prefer. Nice, long, deep breaths. And then whenever you're ready, you can come back to the center. I'm going to come out of this hands and knees position and take a really nice, soft downward dog. So hands onto the floor, lifting the hips up, keeping the knees nice and bent, the hands and feet relatively close together. We're going to use the belly muscles and just give a little wriggle through the hips. And then if you wish to, pad through your heels, lengthening one leg and then the other, maybe allowing the head to gently turn from side to side. Using strength through the shoulders, so not dumping into the shoulders, but maybe moving a little bit with the upper body if that feels good to you. Nice strong lift across those belly muscles, finding some ease. And whenever you're ready, we're going to come down and prepare for relaxation. So you can take a moment to come to the floor and sit upright and just feel the effect of your practice. Hopefully it feels quite good. And then putting on some layers. So it would be useful here, having done work with the neck and shoulders, it is really useful to keep that area warm so it doesn't cool down too quickly, because we do cool down quickly in relaxation, but also it's more nurturing. So if you haven't got an acute injury, which hopefully nobody does as a result of yoga practice, but if you haven't got an acute injury, then keeping the muscles warm keeps them supple and mobile and feeling good. And so that's what we're going to do. So I've got a little scarf on as well, which is really nice. And of course, the usual blanket would be good too. The bolster or whatever you used at the beginning of class to go underneath the body can go underneath the legs. Or if you prefer, you can do legs up the wall. So I've got a bit of congestion today, so I'm going to stick with the floor. But if you would like to, of course, legs up the wall or legs on a chair is always good. We're going to do a final release of the upper back when we get down into this position. So making your way down when you're ready. Super stuff. Although it's a lovely sunny day today, it definitely is. Winter is coming in the air. Super. So once you've established whatever position you're going to do the vast majority of relaxation in, we want the back of the shoulders and the head to feel nice and heavy and supported, and then crossing the arms right over left and just letting the fingertips drape towards the floor, feeling the weight of the upper back really pressing down. It helps sometimes to put your feet on the floor or on your bolster to let the upper back find that space as well. Sometimes it helps to take the curvature out of the low back to help the upper back find its space. You might like to wave your nose gently from side to side. And just take a couple of deep breaths, allowing the upper back to feel really heavy. Any wriggly movements that feel right to you in this moment, go ahead, go for it. And remember all the things we did at the beginning of the class. I don't actually expect you to remember them exactly, but focusing on any movements that feel good to your body. So I'm doing a little wiggling of the shoulders from side to side, like a little side bend with the body. And that's just hitting any spots that feel like they need a little wriggle out. When you're ready, you can change the arms, take them nice and wide, let the back of the arms, back of the head be heavy, and then crossing the opposite way, left over right. Fingertips draping towards the floor, and then just doing anything that feels good. It could be a turn of the head from side to side. It could be just some stillness with long, deep breaths. It might be a little gentle wiggle. Or some people might even draw their head off the floor to do a little bit of more focused maneuvering against the floor. I probably wouldn't do that just before relaxation, but you can if you want to. Whenever you're ready, you can release the hands down. You can release the feet back to where they were if they were bent with the knees on the floor. And just make sure you feel warm and you feel released enough for relaxation. So we're going to do a little tense and relax, just a little bit here. So you can tense the muscles of both legs, point both toes, and particularly if you've got something underneath the backs of the knees, just lift the feet away from the floor. Tense the whole of the legs, hold them tense, 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 relax them, drop down. Squeeze the buttocks and lift the hips up, just finding that length in the front of the body, and relax. Draw the shoulder blades towards each other, lift the chest up, and relax. Make tight fists out of the hands and lift the arms just an inch off the mat where they are. Shrug your shoulders up towards your ears. Press them down towards your hips. Spread your fingers wide and relax. Press the whole of the back down, so extend the low back to the floor. Let the whole of the spine find its way downward, maybe even taking the back of the neck towards the floor, but leaving your head supported. Hold as you breathe. And relax. Make a lemon sucking face. Screw all the muscles of your face in towards your nose. Then eyes open, mouth open, tongue out, exhale. And then one more time, screwing all the muscles in towards the nose. Then eyes open, mouth open, tongue out, exhale. And relax. Close your eyes and gently roll your head from one side to the other. A few times in each direction, easing any effort and tension out of the back of the neck, out of the shoulders. When you're ready, you can bring your head back to center. Make any adjustments you need to your posture. Excuse me. And then bring your body to stillness.
Take another deep breath in, but this time sighing really gently out of the mouth as you surrender the weight of your body into the floor. Allow your breath to soften, to find its natural rhythm, to fall into quietness. Take your awareness into your forehead. Feel that also soften. The space between the eyebrows spreading, separating apart. The area around your eyes releasing. Your mouth, tongue, and jaw relaxing. Take your awareness into the back of your body. Become aware of all of the parts of the back of the body that have contact with something that's down. So the back of the head, the backs of the shoulders and shoulder blades, backs of the arms and hands, the back of the rib cage, the buttocks, perhaps parts of the backs of the legs and the heels of the feet. Allow your body to feel that sensation of contact between the body and the floor. Become aware of all of the parts of the back of the body that are not in contact with the floor. The back of the neck, the wrists, perhaps your low back or the back of the legs where they meet the buttocks. The Achilles and the soles of the feet. Experience the sensation of space between your body and the floor. Imagine those areas of space are like cushions of air. They have just a hint of substance, and the whole body can feel heavy, warm, supported, able to release back and down. Move your awareness to the front of your body, becoming aware of the space over you and around you. Feel the touch of air on your face. Feel the movement of your clothes on your skin as you breathe. Feel the weight and the warmth of the blanket over you. Feel the sensation of holding space in the palms of the hands. Draw your awareness to your breath, finding that long, slow, comfortable breath. And allow your body and mind to relax a little deeper with every exhalation. Gently begin to deepen your breath, bringing your awareness back into your hands and your feet by slowly moving your fingers and toes, and then maybe exploring a few wrist and ankle circles. When you feel ready, you can take a deep breath in and stretch the arms and the legs. Maybe stretch through the sides of the body. Maybe stretch the face in a yawn. When you're ready, don't hurry, but when you're ready, gathering your knees in towards you, maybe making a few motions, circling the knees, or taking the knees one way and the head the other, a little twisting across the body. Just nice and slowly, steadily, rousing your energy. When you feel ready, You can roll onto your side and just take a moment, curled up on your side. Whenever you're ready, coming into any comfortable upright position, if you can, keeping your eyes gently closed, just containing that sense of stillness and peace within. And today we're going to finish with the palms across the chest or just in front of the chest, together there, sitting nice and tall, taking the chin towards the chest. We've been working with this energy of our heart for a few weeks now, so holding a person or a place or a thing, a concept, if you like, in your heart. Might be the concept of peace or patience or tolerance. It might be someone that you love or someone who you know who needs that extra compassion and love. Whatever you've chosen to hold in your heart, allow it to be wrapped in that energy of kindness. Smile to yourself and in your own time, raising your head, opening your eyes. Thank you so much for joining in this class today. I hope you've enjoyed that wriggle through the upper back, chest, shoulders, neck. And I look forward to practicing with you again soon. Namaste.